Welcome to Not Movies. This is a podcast where we get together and make up a ridiculous story for a movie sometimes.
Doesn't always have to be ridiculous. I just want to make that said.
Oh, really?
No.
Are we changing the rules?
Eric would like to be much more serious, I think.
Oh.
Listen. I feel like I've been rolling with the punches with ridiculous ideas because I know that's what the room wants.
Well, I kept saying that in the intro. I figured we would
Do you
leave.
remember how serious some of our early movies were?
Yeah.
Quite
Those
serious.
are some good ones.
Those are probably Eric's favorites.
Well, okay.
The Ledge
All
is
right. Well, then let
I
me
knew
go.
you were going to say The Ledge. That's the only one I remember.
Well, then let me go out on a limb and pitch an idea that I think is the best one I've ever had, and I think could be a viable TV show that I would like to do my best to bring to fruition.
Excellent. Love to hear it. Let's go.
And we mentioned a little bit about the Great British Bake Off last year.
By the way, I'm Eric.
Oh, I'm Sean.
I'm Summer.
Great.
And
Welcome
that's
to Not Movies.
basically what I want to rip off. I want to make a show that's the Great British Bake Off format, but for Summer started this pitch already. But for musicians and people making music.
Okay.
So you don't watch the Great British Bake Off.
So
How
give
familiar
me-
with the format are you?
I unfamiliar. I will
Okay,
say.
that's fine. So basically, they have 2 expert judges and they have 2 comedic hosts.
Oh, cool.
Who host the show, and one of them is old Greg.
Oh yeah. Julian.
No, Noel
Felder.
Fielding.
Noah
Or
Fielding.
Felding or
Because
something.
Julian is the other guy.
Yeah.
On Mighty
So
Binge.
they have it's a season where it's a lot of other baking shows. I feel like they have like 3 guests each different episode, but it's the same cast the whole season,
Cool.
and then one person gets voted off each time.
One chef that makes the.
Yeah, they're all amateur bakers.
Okay.
And so they get 3 separate challenges each episode, and 2 of the rounds they get to practice at home, and one of the rounds they have to just do it on the fly, and they've never been able to prep for it.
When you say
Technical.
practice at home, do you mean like located at home, or do you?
No, they get to like they get to plan out their recipe and make the
Okay.
whole bake and do it at home as many times as they want during the week, and then they come and they have to do it
Great.
for real. So I think it would be cool to have a music show where it's just like this, and you could have different types of amateur musicians, or maybe professional musicians on a smaller scale.
Okay.
And maybe one of them is an electronic music producer. Maybe one of them is a virtuoso pianist.
Okay.
Maybe one of them is a singer-songwriter who plays a bunch of different instruments.
And are these the
Something
judges
like that.
you're describing?
No. These are the contestants.
Okay.
They all have like their own unique set of music-making skills.
How are you going to compare that to one another?
That's a good question.
Because they're all doing their take on these different projects. So the project that
So it's like making a souffle, but your way.
Exactly. And it's going to be, you're going to have to do, for the projects at home, you'll have criteria like it's got to be a ballad, and it's got to use this element or specific projects like that.
I'm really liking this.
Yeah, how many contestants do you need, though? And, that's a lot of performances to watch. I don't want
But
to watch
people
them.
watch American Idol,
Well-
and it's literally just people singing covers of songs.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think part of what's interesting is seeing what goes into making the music, and that's
Yeah.
what the show is really about. The baking show is really interesting because you get to see what goes into all these different styles of cooking, and I don't think there's any show on TV right now that shows you really the inner workings of how music gets put together, and I think that's something that most people really have no idea what the process is like, and it's really different than you might think. I think there's a lot of interesting things there. So that's basically the idea.
I think this is so great. Like, I legit, like, I would watch. I guess if I haven't watched the British Bake Off, maybe I wouldn't. But like, you sold me on the sound of it. Like, I think it
it's gonna
sounds
be
like
cool.
interesting, especially the fact that like I'm more interested in the fact that they're not all
The same
genre,
right?
They're
They're not trying to do exactly the same technical exercise every time. Although
Right,
that might
because
be an
then-
element of it where they have,
as the viewer, then, if I saw 2 people that were playing electric guitar, let's say, I could
Exactly
be like,
the same.
I could
Yeah.
be like, well, that one's better. More. I think it's more easy to see that one would be. But if it's like one's playing guitar and one's playing like piano or something, it's like, well, there's plenty of more room for interpretation about how you would. But then hearing even the judges say why they feel that like oh, this might be less conventional, but what you pulled from the mire of this song or this piece has more depth to it in your approach, blah, blah, blah.
Right. Yeah, and there are
I know
technical
nothing
aspects.
about music.
No, you're making a convincing point then, at least because there are technical things that can be certainly wrong or right about a performance,
Sure.
but then there are a lot of things that are subjective that could make judging interesting.
Yeah.
So what I propose is I think I would like to do a pilot episode as a podcast episode that's a crossover between Sean and Dave Make Music and not movies.
Oh.
And just to test
You
out...
know how I feel about Dave Trump.
Just to test it out and do a proof of concept sort of thing. Do one episode where we have two musical guests and pit them against each other and make challenges. And,
I'm all about
do
that.
it.
Can I just sit back and judge?
Maybe.
I mean, like
Maybe you could host.
I could be the host.
I don't know if you're enough of an expert to be able to be a judge. Maybe
Well, I don't
me and
think
Dave
I should
could be
get in
the
the way
judges,
of
and
my.
maybe me and Dave could be the judges, and you and Summer could be the comedy hosts.
I like that.
Or not.
No, Summer.
Okay,
Summer.
well, we'll get
Think
a different
about,
host if Summer doesn't want
Summer,
to do it.
think about
Yeah.
this.
That's fine.
You get to hang out with me. Second of all, you would be like the dark one. I'm like the light. I am the, if we're American Idol, I am, what's her name? Straight up now, tell
Paula
me.
Abdul?
I'm Paula Abdul. You're the Simon Cowell.
I mean,
You're like, that was terrible.
that's probably
More apt of our relationship,
Yeah.
our dynamic. And
how I would
and
feel
Sean
having
is
to be
clearly
a
the
host on a
Randy
music
Jackson.
Sounds good to me, dog.
I don't know why that made me laugh so much, but it's funny to me. But I am all about this show. I would actually stomach my hatred for Dave Trump through a joint episode if it means I could host and just like be like like a character.
Yeah, I think let's do it. All right. So that wraps it up for this week. Well, let's make it happen. And listeners, stay tuned. We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
And we'll have another episode for you next week. Go ahead and check out the rest of ours. Like us on Facebook and tweet
And
at
check
us.
out the
blah,
Ledge.
blah, blah.
Really, really a gem.
Yeah.
It's really good.
All right, go listen to episode 3 of The Ledge.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.